Hi, it's Jean with Metamorphosis in Motion, my daily check-in on my progress, my midlife transformation progress, and my daily check-in. I missed one. Yesterday, I did not check in. I drove 3 hours to my apiary, worked the bees, did a little gardening or farming. I really was just pulling weeds, and then drove back 3 hours. So it was a kind of a long day, and I just got home and visited with my kids and felt like I needed to detox and not check in. So sorry if anybody missed me yesterday. If anybody's checking me out, I think maybe in time. So yes, I did do the bees yesterday. So on my long drive down, I listened to a podcast. And I always feel a little bit enlightened by these podcasts that I listen to. And if you are interested in watching them and maybe transforming some things about yourself, I highly recommend Mel Robbins. She just always seems to be kind of on point with the things that I am looking to make changes in my life. So I'm learning. She is learning, I think, too, but she's also had more time to put into practice some of these things. So I am just starting to put many of them into practice. There are some things I think that I have done before, but still obviously am looking to improve. So what did I learn? I learned more about trauma and how it can manifest in our bodies and our nervous systems. And so I have my own trauma to deal with, and I think I've done the thing where you kind of just push it aside and kind of pretend like it's not there versus heal it. So that's something I need to work on for me. But what it also brought up were feelings of my trauma having influenced my raising of my kids. And I think it's pretty safe to say that most people, when they have kids, they want to do what's best for them. And sometimes, speaking for myself, sometimes there seemed to be this gap. Like I tried to put on the good face. I worked hard to manage my emotions, my reactions to things. I was not perfect by any stretch, and I didn't think I needed to be, though sometimes I think that I had strong emotions about things because of trauma inside of me, which they would have never had any idea why that should affect them. And so I have feelings of guilt about that. That's what I'm getting to there. These feelings of guilt I have about not being the person I wanted to show up for them being. So that's something that's in progress. It's a work in progress. I'm not quite sure how to sort of fix the damage that's been done. I've talked a little bit about this in past videos, but there is not really a how-to manual, right? People like to talk about how they grew up and now they have these feelings and problems and things to sort of fix, and they link it back to the childhood. And as a parent right now trying to do the right things, I'm like, well, can anybody tell me what would be the better way to go? And thankfully, I finally found some resources that have helped somewhat in that area. One of those is a book called Parent Yourself First. There may be more out there, but those are not the ones I stumbled upon. So that one, I would say, has helped me in understanding how I was raised has impacted my kids and things that I should do differently, but sort of address that in myself and parent myself through it. Why do I have these responses, and how do I do a better job? So there aren't a lot of, I haven't found a lot of resources that talk about how to do better as a parent. Now, I've read the books about grit, and I've read the books about not shaming, and I've read this and I've read that, but if inside of us there's a certain thing going on, it's really sort of hard to pinpoint what that might be if we haven't got the healing that we need first. So I would say if you're watching this and you're kind of feeling something similar, to seek out some resources, seek that book out. I think it was been useful for me. It might be useful for you. I found it at the library. The first name of the author is Rihanna, I think, with her last name starting with K. I can't even pronounce her last name. So that's been helpful. But it was interesting that the podcast that I'm listening to now, because I'm just listening to them as series. I'm not picking them based on what I think I need now. I'm just listening to them from the very beginning, and I'm going to get through, hopefully. I mean, there's like 200 or something. So I think in the times that I spend in the car, I'll eventually get through them all. They seem to come in the right order for me to manage them right now. So that was something that came up, was the trauma. And I worry about my own, but I also worry about how my own is affecting my kids. And I know that I see that in one in particular. So I want to work harder on soothing. I'm learning about vagal nerves and things like that, like how to soothe that. And there are things we've done before, but it's hard with kids, like getting into that meditation and the breathing work and that sort of thing. They're kind of like, whatever. And I, to be honest, was like, whatever before, when I was young too. And it was not mainstream whatsoever when I was younger. So, but I got to that point in my life where I said, well, clearly everything I've tried up to now has not worked. So let's try some new things. And lo and behold, it has had a good impact on me. It's just the consistency thing that I'm still working on. So there was that, and then learning how to make habits stick, which was really kind of useful. I think that I don't give myself enough rewards. So if you're trying to change habits, rewarding yourself is really important. So you give yourself something to look forward to when you complete the thing that you're trying to change. So if you're trying to get up in the morning and go to the gym, and you go through a series of things that help you do that. So there's also helpers. I don't know if she called it triggers, maybe, but little ways that you can remind yourself. You have to see it. You have to make it easy for yourself. So if going to the gym in the morning is one of those things, there are a series of things that she has put into motion. And so as examples, I personally have not done this, so I can't attest to it, but I will set myself some new habit goals, particularly in the area of exercise. It was something that was really important to me in the past, and then through a series of injury and the pandemic and things like that, it just in my own mental state, I just lost touch with exercise. So I need to put that back in. And I've said I still move around, I do a lot of stuff up and down, but I'm not, like keeping bees is not easy, tending to a farm or garden, it's not easy work, but it's not consistent either, and I need to do more with that. So back to what the habit could be. A way to change the habit is, and this is an example that I was given, so I'll give you the example that I heard. The night before, pick out your exercise clothes and put them by your bed. So the first thing you see in the morning is the clothes that you need to put on to get ready to go to the gym. After you complete your gym workout and you do that sort of thing, think there's a coffee shop you like to go to and you have a nice cup of coffee. Maybe you see I think I personally have trouble advocating for eating something out of the realm of healthy if you're going to take the time to go to the gym, but maybe reward yourself with something that you enjoy that does fall in that category. And maybe on Friday you can treat yourself to I don't know, she said burrito, maybe it's a biscuit, maybe it's a scone, something, I don't know, whatever it is for you that tastes good for you, that you feel good about having, but don't undo all that hard work that you've done at the gym. So rewards and visual cues, I think that's what it was, visual cues to help you remember to do the habit, but you have to also internally have a strong desire to see a change. So you have to sort of see the future self and why do you want that, and start doing the things your future self would do. So if you see yourself as fit and energetic in the future, then you have to do those things that your future self is doing now so that you can be energetic or in shape, or your mental acuity is stronger. Just things like that. You can turn it into whatever it is for you. Drinking more water, maybe eating more vegetables, whatever it is that you would set for you. You see that future self doing that, and then you implement those things now, basically. So that was really helpful to hear for me as I'm going through this transformation and trying to establish new habits. I am happy to say that I am not, I'm still sober and no coffee for 47 days now. Well, a couple days longer than that. It's almost 50 days. So I think that's kind of a pretty good accomplishment. And, you know, I don't want to minimize or talk about, I don't want to minimize the whole alcohol thing. For me, it's definitely, I use it as a crutch, as a response to my own uncomfortable feelings, my trauma responses, my way of dealing with things that make me feel uncomfortable. So that's a really not healthy way to deal with that sort of thing, and made a conscious effort to change that. Now, it's been fairly tough in some days, but for the most part, I've committed in my mind that this is something I'm not doing just for me, even though it is important that you do it for you, but as a parent, doing it to be a better role model. So that's going along pretty well. I'm not saying I'm never going to drink again. I'm not saying I am ever going to drink again. I don't really know how this is all going to play out, but I do get a lot more done during the day. Because I sleep better at night. It's not like I get up in the morning and I feel terrible because of drinking, but I feel a little more tired because of drinking, in the sense that I could not sleep through the whole night. And that is also actually really bad for everything, your brain, your body, your aging. Your body needs sleep. So just being able to sleep has been a big deal. And now I cut the coffee because she should not be drinking coffee. And my kid actually not drinking coffee. Neither of my kids drink coffee anymore. My husband still drinks coffee, but the kids don't drink coffee. And that, I think, is a win. They don't have the addiction of a drug in their system. Currently, I don't either, which is really nice. It's a nice feeling to know that I'm not being drawn to this. And caffeine, I think, is really much more addictive than alcohol, to be honest. That's maybe just me. So that's been really good. What else did I kind of uncover in these travels? Well, let's talk a little bit about the bees. They are good. I did harvest 9 more frames of honey, so it's my first year harvesting lots of honey, like with capped frames, that I could harvest it all and use it all. But I'm not going to. I'm marking it all from the hives that I'm taking it from, and over a period of time, I'm going to figure out what they need for the winter and make sure they have enough. And if they have enough, then I can have some honey for me and my family and friends, and maybe I'll have enough to sell some more. I did sell a little bit already this year, so I was really happy about that. But they did, the last hive that I did, I could have done one more, but they were so bonkers that I got stung on my chin, which still hurts a lot, and my leg, and they were like crazy stinging at my clothes, and I said, I'm just putting it all back together. We'll do them next time. They don't like working in the heat, and I don't like working in the heat, and it's just at that time of year where they're just kind of not very happy. So, but I have to still get in and I want to take their honey so that they don't lose it to parasites. So, so this is about my metamorphosis, my transformation. So that's just a movement in the direction of achieving my goals. So I have to do hard things like drive 6 hours in one day and work bees, and can be hard, but it's kind of it's almost rote at this point, and it's a really great time for me to listen to the podcasts and books. I tried an audio book. I'm trying to understand more about the vagal nerve and trauma and how to soothe that and overcome the trauma. That book was really hard to listen to and drive. So I went back to my podcast, and lo and behold, the next one was talking about the exact same thing as that book, but in a much more entertaining fashion. I think it was more of the book I was listening to was maybe more for, medical professionals, but so maybe they can digest it easier. I don't know. And maybe they can, because these terms are sort of new to me. So someone who's heard them a lot probably can process it easier. And then today, I'm playing the run around town mom right now with the counseling of the kids. And what else? Yeah, so my daughter had a good day. She was kind of hanging out with some friends, and I couldn't find her for a little bit, which made me a little uncomfortable, but we got through that. And in a pretty good way. I mean, it took a minute, but we were good. So I felt good about having not gone completely crazy about not being able to find her. But still working on not reacting too much. They're always around. So I got more work done, and that's kind of, just trying to work like I work as a normal go-to-work person, but I'm doing it at home as an entrepreneur, which is hard. I'm pulled in so many different directions. And there was one more thing that I thought about the whole, I don't know anymore. I just don't know. So I guess we'll end it with that, unless I think of what it was. I don't know. So maybe I'll bring it up tomorrow if I think of it again. This was pretty long. I thought I would want to fill you in on yesterday and a little bit of today. Like I said, today is not too much going on. I guess I should let you know how my morning routine is going, and that is sort of so-so. Still working on it. I did some journaling and some reading. Didn't get to the meditation today because I did end up getting up late. I was tired enough that I slept in this morning, which was not good for anybody because we all ended up sleeping in. But sometimes we need to sleep, so I think that's okay once in a while. And that was my day today. I don't know if I mentioned we did go get the kids hiking boots because I have this goal of hiking one day a week. Now it's going to be really hard because it's like in the 90s right now. And nobody in my family likes to do anything when it's really hot. So we'll see if we start this week or get into next week. I don't know for sure because it would have to be tomorrow. So those things are happening. I think that's all I'll cover today. Anything that I've missed, I'm sure, isn't earth-shattering, and I can cover in another future video. I'm happy that you're here coming with me through this transformation, listening to what I'm working on, what's working, what maybe isn't working, where I'm making changes as I get a little farther into my plan for moving forward. And now, tonight, it's going to be kind of hang out with the kids and do a little together time. And then I'll see you tomorrow. So let me know how things are going for you. If you have any comments or questions about what I've been talking about, and hit the subscribe. I am going to spin these off into different types of videos. So if you want to hear about my beekeeping specifically, I will have another video series coming up about my new eating plan. And I think that's going to be really good, and I'm looking forward to doing that. So I'm looking forward to sharing, of course. All right, well, I will say goodbye for now, and I will see you tomorrow.